everyone, before you watch this video, make sure you've seen part 1, the link is in the description. Firstly, I'm sorry I've been gone for so long, especially after saying I was hoping to get this video up 2 weeks after the last one. I really did try my best and I wrote a lot of this right before Christmas. However, the holiday season was a bit more hectic than I expected, and my sweet old dog was beginning to get very unwell. Unfortunately, she has passed on now, so losing a pet that I'd grown up with and felt like family to me was incredibly difficult. I don't want to make anyone sad and I promise me and my family are doing okay now. I hope to be able to make more videos ASAP. Anyways, I'll stop yapping and get on with the video. Oizu, come here. Huh, Ka-chan, I'm going to be late for class. You're gonna wanna see this before you leave. Izuku huffed and put his bag down to head back into Katsuki's living room, instinctively putting a hand round the blonde man's waist as he bumped his side and looked to the TV he was gesturing at. Hero fans across the country are in uproar this morning after some anonymous photo leaks surfaced. UA teacher and pro hero Deku was spotted on yet another date. However, this time it was with the controversial hero Dynamite, who is best known for debuting in 4th on the hero billboard only to fall rapidly to 15th due to his bad attitude with the public. In case you missed it, it was hardly a week ago when pro hero Uraviti confirmed in an interview that she and Deku were in a relationship. Does this mean the up-and-coming hero left her for someone else so quickly? We don't have the details, but it's not a good look. They showed pictures of us at dinner. We looked damn good, you know. I'll talk to Yurika about all this. Thanks for warning me, but I've gotta get going now. He leaned up to press a kiss to Katsuki's cheek before hurrying back out the room to put his shoes on, the blonde man slowly trudging behind. You comin' back after work? I'll stop by Yurika's and then I was thinking we could maybe head to your agency together this evening? Oh, you wanna finalize everything for real? Once I sign the paperwork I'm in, right? Yeah, thanks Izuku. Nah, thank you for not giving up on me. He smiled and Katsuki stepped closer to hold his waist and pull him in for a kiss. Have you got your lunch? Yup, thanks again for making it, Ka-chan. Every time you stay here you'll get my top-tier bento the next morning, so you better come over often. That might just convince me to put up with you. Shut up, you love me. I do. They kissed again before Izuku took a deep breath and stepped away, picking up his bag and brushing off Katsuki's needy hands. I really have to leave now, no more stalling. Love you, Ka-chan, see you later. Hope the kids aren't annoying little shits today. Me too. They laughed and waved, Katsuki watching him leave before the door was shut, and he was alone. He had the morning off, and so he couldn't help but sit himself back down in the living room and flick through the news channels. He knew the truth, that Izuku never even wanted to date Ochako and it was all a misunderstanding, but seeing all these shitty reporters putting Izuku down, calling him a player or even accusing him of cheating, all because of him, it made him mad, but more than that he felt guilty. Every channel he flicked to had something to say about Katsuki being a downgrade, how Izuku had gone from the sweetheart Ochako who literally created an entire program to help kids who struggled with their quirks, to the asshole Dynamite who yelled at every civilian who simply asked for an autograph or photo. His careless attitude was now not only affecting everyone's opinion of him, but also Izuku. One new message from Icy Hot. How busy are you today? Not working till 1 p.m. Why? Could you stop by my place before heading in? Why? I wanna talk to you about your agency and stuff. Just come over please. Fine. You're annoying. Later that morning, BAKUGO was stood outside the traditional home of Japan's new number 2 hero, arms crossed and foot tapping impatiently, until the man who had requested his visit finally opened the door. Oh hey, you actually came? I have nothing better to do. Okay, well, come in, I have questions. BAKUGO followed him inside and couldn't help side-eyeing the old-fashioned traditional interior, huffing as he stood in the kitchen alongside the half-and-half man who began making coffee. Obviously you and Midoriya made up and are dating now, yes? Yes, he told me he kept you updated after you were basically the one to bring him back to his senses. Oh, thanks for that, by the way. No worries. My question was, does this mean he's finally agreed to join your agency? He has. He's actually heading there after he finishes work later so we can get the paperwork and shit sorted, then it'll be official. Thank God. Yeah, I'm really excited about it actually. Of course you are, it's what you two spent your entire school years working toward. I'm so glad he agreed though, now I can actually use all those balloons I bought. You bought balloons? For what? When Kirishima told me you were planning to ask him to join, I preemptively bought a ton of green and orange balloons, and this massive banner that congratulated you both. They've been sat in my closet along with a tank of helium for like 3 months now. Jesus Christ. But now I can host the party I planned? It'll be good to see everyone again so soon. It doesn't have to be a big deal. I'm hosting a party. Just leave it to me, I'll invite everyone, and if some people can't make it, it'll be fine. Oh, wait, there was something else I wanted to ask you about. What is it? The news hasn't been too kind to you today. Oh right, all that shit. Izuku's talking to Yurika later, it's whatever. But hey, you aren't gonna make a statement? About all the awful things they're saying? How the fuck do you think that would go? Right, what if I was with you? I really can put a good word in for you, you know. I'd love to, in fact. I don't need to look like your pity friend. But you're not, you just are my friend. Sigh, whatever, maybe. After Izuku sorts out his side of things. Hey, no matter what the public says, I'm really happy for you guys, and everyone who actually knows you, knows that you belong together. Thanks. I think I'm going to propose to him. Todoroki's eyes widened and he almost choked on his coffee as he stared in silence, Bakugo refusing to meet his eyes as his cheeks adorned a shy red hue. That's really great, but you've only been dating a week, Bakugo. No, not yet? Not right now or anything? I was thinking maybe for Christmas or something. So you'd have been dating for 2 months? 2.5? And besides, why does it matter? I've known him my whole life and I've been in love with him for like 8 years. He told me you said 7 years. 7, 8, what's the difference? It's too many years to be in love with someone and not want to marry them? Of course I want to marry him. I guess you make a good point, and Midoriya has been in love with you for however many years too, so I guess even though you won't have been dating for super long, why wait any longer? Exactly? So you don't think I'm insane? No, he'll say yes. Yeah, he will, won't he? Probably. You'll make me freak out about it. Marriage is scary. You should freak out. Nah, marriage is beautiful. That's because your parents never divorced. Oh, right. Well, I've gotta get to work. And I've got a party to plan. I'm gonna message you once Midoriya makes a statement. I really think I can help you. Whatever, thanks. The next month was hectic, after Ochako released a statement about her misunderstanding, that she'd confused her feelings for needing to be something more than just the joy of seeing an old friend again. The public stopped accusing Izuku of being a player and serial dater. However, the slander on Katsuki's name didn't die down until he finally relented, agreeing to let Todoroki speak up in his defense in interviews. Despite being grateful for his kind words swaying the public's opinion, Katsuki was also peeved that this now meant every time he left the house people were clamoring at him to beg for photos and autographs again. When he was alone it was a problem. He would bite his tongue for as long as possible, but people would really push his buttons. Usually it was while he was on the job. He didn't have time for all these people, they had to get lost. But when he was with Izuku, the story was different. Dynamite, dynamite, I'm your biggest fan. Please sign my dynamite bag. Huh? No, I'm your biggest fan. I have all your merch at home. I wanna join your agency one day. Please take a picture with me. For starters, neither of you are my biggest fan. That's Izuku. Pfft, Ka-chan, you might be right, but still, be nice. The freckled man leant in to press a kiss to Katsuki's cheek, and the blonde man instantly went pink, smiling bashfully and grabbing the fan's bag to sign. Thanks for your support. Thank you so much. Can I get a picture with both of you? Sure. Did you join Dynamite's agency? Well, promise you won't tell? Ka-chan? Promise? We're announcing it soon, but it's actually not going to be the Dynamite agency anymore. What? No way. Why? Because it's going to be our joint agency. You'll know the name when we announce it. That's so cool. It totally is right. The fans squealed together and Izuku laughed. They took a group photo and another with each of the fans, before checking the time. Ka-chan, the party is soon. We should really get going. Oh shit, right? Stay winning, kids. Totally, plus ultra. Congratulations to the Wonder Duo agency. The group of friends cheered as Todoroki dropped a ton of orange and green confetti from the ceiling. Katsuki couldn't help the groan and roll of his eyes as it all got stuck in his hair and even dropped into his drink. Izuku, however, had the brightest smile on his face as he cheered and reached up to catch some, his inner child leaping out in excitement and making his boyfriend's slight annoyance dissipate as he watched him fondly. Katsuki couldn't help but press a kiss to the side of Izuku's head, making his cheeks turn pink as Minaku'd. You, PDA. Dude, that was barely even a kiss, they could at least do it for real. You're literal children. Pfft, hey Ka-chan, I'm gonna go get a slice of cake, do you want any? I'm all good thanks love. Okie dokie. The freckled man slipped away to cut the pretty tiered cake Todoroki had got for the celebration, and Katsuki found himself drifting toward a group of his friends who were sat together, but still couldn't seem to look away from his boyfriend across the room. Whoa, Bakugo? You almost knocked over my drink. He's too busy making heart eyes at Midoriya. Haha, very funny, it's not my fault he's so pretty. Can't believe this is the same guy who wanted him dead in high school. He never actually wanted him dead, come on. Obviously. Yeah, I know, I'm just playing, it is kinda funny though. Agreed. Regardless of how he was in high school, you guys are lucky you didn't see how he was last month. We don't have to bring that up, you know. Well then let's hope they never break up. Well, Bakugo is hoping for the opposite. Huh? The opposite of breaking up? Sigh, you two are just as bad as each other? Always airing out my secrets. Secrets? What secrets? I feel like a teenager again. I'm gonna propose next month, on Christmas Day. Wha? Before Kaminari could even finish yelling a single word, Kirishima had practically dived on him and covered his mouth. A few of their friends around the room looked over in confusion, before realizing who the culprit was and continuing to chat amongst themselves since that was pretty standard behavior for Kaminari. Thank you. That's crazy. What do you mean? It makes total sense. I'm so proud of you, man. Midoriya won't be expecting it at all, I'm sure. He'll totally cry. We're all best men at the wedding, right? He's gotta actually say yes first. Obviously he's saying yes. Who's saying yes? Izuku's sweet voice asked inquisitively as he stepped up to the table, carrying his slice of cake as he sat beside his boyfriend with a smile. Oh, me? About what? Helping me out at the agency? What? No, I don't wanna. Dude. Ugh. Yeah, I'm saying yes cause I'm a good person like that. If I had time I'd love to help out too. But you know, with teaching, and now our agency, I'm already worried about not being able to handle it all. You'll do great. Teaching is still what you want to do, so just think of the agency as your hobby. Come spend time with me and help out when you can. That's all I want. You're too good to me. Izuku held his hand on the table and they instinctively leaned in for a quick kiss, before shyly remembering all their friends around them as Katsuki cleared his throat. Yeah, they're too cute, I don't like it. You're just jealous. You were so quick to shut down my question about you and Jiro at the last party, but I could have sworn you were trying to work something out. Cha, maybe, it's difficult. If you like her, why not just ask her out? It's not that easy. It totally could be. You find it so easy to flirt, but when it comes to the real thing you're a chicken, huh? No, I'll do it. Eventually, maybe. Good luck, Kaminari-kun, I believe in you. Katsuki enjoyed the rest of the party. Unlike the last time they all got together, when he was totally distracted and just wanted to go home, this time he actually felt so good that he never wanted it to end. He made the effort to go around and reconnect with all his old classmates, with help from his boyfriend for the people he was closer with, and it all just felt so nostalgic and nice. I think we should try to get everyone together at least once a year from now on. Really? Don't you think it was a really great night? Of course I do. I just never expected you to want to have more social gatherings. Maybe you've brought something out of me. I enjoyed seeing everyone again, even Yurika, and like just over a month ago I thought I despised her. Izuku hung his coat up before reaching over to hold his boyfriend's hands. They just got back to Katsuki's apartment and it was really late. The party had run a lot longer than expected. I know you've already told me to stop saying this, but I really am sorry for putting you through that. I wish I could go back in time and do everything differently. It's okay. I'm the happiest I've ever been right now, Zu. You have nothing to worry about. To emphasize his point, he let go of Izuku's hands to cup his face instead, stepping closer to connect their lips sweetly. The air was so calm and quiet, and the delicate way they kissed just felt so right, reassuring one another that everything was perfect. I need to head home tomorrow to get more clothes and stuff. I can't keep borrowing yours, I'm almost out of underwear. Cha, you might as well just move in at this point, Izuku. You're always here, Your house is just a storage unit. Well, are you asking me to? Oh. They went quiet for a moment and Katsuki felt his heart racing. He'd only said it as a joke, but if he was planning on proposing next month, then of course they'd end up living together at some point. And his joke was true really. Since they started dating, Izuku had only gone home to get more essentials when he needed them. If you were just kidding, that's fine, we can wait a little longer before all that. No? I'd love for you to move in, I'd love to live with you. Really? Katsuki grinned and wrapped his arms around the freckled man, holding him so tight his feet lifted off the ground as he giggled. Waking up with you every morning has been incredible, knowing it'll be permanent, I could die, I'm so happy. I'll have all your cute little things around the apartment, it'll feel so much more like a home with you in it. I'll get to eat your cooking every night. Wow, is that all I am to you? No? You're like a warm blanket at night too. Katsuki couldn't hold back his smile, so he buried his face into Izuku's neck to hide it. What else? You smell super great, you keep the place tidy, you're organized and always thinking practically. Keep going. You're smart and funny, despite knowing you my whole life you still keep me interested every day. Katsuki began littering kisses onto the skin of his neck and Izuku tilted his head with a content hum, his fingers pressing into the small of Katsuki's back. Anything else? Your kisses are amazing, your arms are so big and strong, you make me feel safe, you're hot. Okay, enough before I can't hold myself back. He pulled back from Izuku's neck and the freckled man noticed how red his cheeks were. He couldn't help giggling and pressing a kiss to those warm rosy cheeks. You're right, it's late, we can sort some things out over the weekend, but for now I just wanna snuggle in bed. Sounds perfect. They waddled to Katsuki's bedroom, refusing to let go of each other even as they stumbled and laughed, until Izuku flopped onto the bedsheets with a sigh. I'm too lazy to change. Nope, come on, get back up, you can't sleep in dress pants, you freak. Ugh, that's tomorrow me's problem. Nah, I'm not letting you hate yourself tomorrow, I'll peel them off you myself if I have to. Hey, that might be kinda hot. It's almost 2 a.m. Izuku, and I'm not wasting your virginity on stiff pants. Hey, how do you know I'm still a virgin, huh? I totally might not be. Right, 'cause you're totally the type for one-night stands. Ugh, fine, I'm a virgin at 25, that's nothing to be ashamed about. I never said it was. Do you have enough energy to get up and change yet? Izuku huffed with a pout but complied with the nagging, and before long they were both settled under the duvet ready to pass out and sleep in for their day off. For the rest of November, Katsuki was stuck being Izuku's personal moving van as they hauled all his things from his house to Katsuki's, their, apartment. In all the chaos, Izuku had forgotten his lunch way too many times, making Katsuki's irregular visits to his UA classroom much more frequent. But they'd become comfortable in their relationship, enough for Katsuki to seek out excuses to come see his boyfriend at work even if he hadn't forgotten his lunch, simply because he craved a kiss and some praise after a morning battle with criminals. Of course, Izuku's students had a lot to say about it, and they would both get ridiculed by their old teachers if Izuwa happened to be visiting the classroom while Katsuki was there, but everyone seemed happy for them both. And they were happy. Izuku didn't think anything could possibly make him happier. Katsuki of course was holding out for his proposal, spending the beginning of December getting the perfect ring and making secret Christmas plans. He'd even let Izuku cover the apartment in festive decorations. Despite usually feeling pretty bah humbug about the whole holiday, this year felt different. How did I do tonight? Delicious as always, Ka-chan. Good, I need you well fed and rested for tomorrow. Woo, we have plans? Of course, it's Christmas after all. I know. I just wasn't sure if you were wanting to keep it low-key and spend our day off relaxing. That sounds really nice, but nope, I've made some Christmas date plans. How exciting. They continued eating quietly, sat opposite each other at the dining table, until Izuku's eyes widened a fraction as he felt something brush against his leg under the table. He chewed his last mouthful and looked down a little to see Katsuki's foot teasing the hem of his pant leg. It made his cheeks feel a little warm as he hesitantly looked back up into his crimson eyes. Good job finishing it all. Thanks. You got room for dessert? Izuku's heart jumped in his chest. He knew what that question really meant, and it scared him. They'd been dating for over 2 months now, and no matter how close they sometimes got, Izuku could never take that one step further. He knew Katsuki wanted to, and that he was being very understanding and patient with him despite Izuku never having any good explanation for why he would suddenly back off, but Katsuki never pressed further. Izuku could feel his boyfriend's foot drifting higher up his leg and could see that sultry glint in his eyes. It had the freckled man instantly leaping out of his seat. Sorry Ka-chan? Sigh, do you find me sexually repulsive or something? What? No? Not at all Ka-chan, you know how I feel about you? Then please just be honest with me, no more. Sorry Ka-chan, my muscles are too sore. Or, sorry Ka-chan, I have a headache, just tell me what's up, please? It's just, you know, I've never slept with anyone before. I can't help but feel so terrified that I'm going to fuck it up and look like such an idiot in front of you. Or like, what if I'm not as good as the other people you've... He was cut off as Katsuki stepped forward, cupping his face and kissing his lips to stop him from finishing such a baffling statement. Izuku, love, yes, I've had a couple one-night stands in the past, but I only ever slept with those people in some desperate attempt to get over you. It clearly didn't work. Those few times it did happen, I couldn't stop myself from imagining it was with you anyway. You could never be worse than them at all, you're all I've ever wanted, and as for your other concern, you always look like an idiot in front of me. Ow. Izuku hit his shoulder playfully before sighing and burying his face into the crook of Katsuki's neck and shoulder, holding him tightly round the waist. In all seriousness Izuku, it's normal to feel nervous. Heck, I'm nervous, of course I am. I might have a little more experience than you, but barely. I don't want to mess it up either. You couldn't possibly mess it up Ka-chan, this is you we're talking about. Well, the same goes for you, stupid. Pfft, alright, I believe you. If you still want to wait, that's fine. I'm just glad you finally talked to me about it. I mean, who knows when we'll next have time off where we're not even on call for emergencies. He spoke shyly and Katsuki's stomach started fluttering as his coarse fingers slipped under the back of his shirt. Oh, ahem, I promised I'd write some smut for this one, so I did. But please, I'm begging you, if you're under 18, do not read it. I would be stupid to think you're all going to listen to me, so, if you are under 18 and you're going to read it, please don't comment about it, don't tell me your age, don't say anything at all, I'm begging you. For the sake of my mental health, don't make me regret writing it again. The link will be in the description. For those of you who didn't read it, they had a sleigh time and then showered and are now in bed. Katsuki reached over to check the clock and sighed in relief, lying back down as Izuku curled into his chest. Thank God it's still not too late. You better get good sleep tonight so you're not tired tomorrow. I'm sure I will. I think you're the one who's gonna need more rest. Yeah, I'm fine, thank you. Hehe, I love you Ka-chan. Love you too. Katsuki awoke the next morning to Izuku's lips being pressed against his cheek, then his forehead, then his lips, as his eyes slowly fluttered open. What's all this? Merry Christmas. His eyes were sparkling and Katsuki's heart swelled in his chest. What a perfect way to wake up. I didn't want to disturb you, but you did mention a bunch of plans today. I wasn't sure how late you wanted to sleep in. As long as it's not past 10 a.m. we're fine. It's only 8. Yeesh, you think I'd make plans that early? Ah well, at least we have time to open presents and have breakfast. Izuku's eyes lit up and he tossed the duvet off himself to jump out of bed, leaving Katsuki to watch him with a raised brow at his abundance of energy. I'll go make hot chocolate, come down when you're ready. He rushed off and Katsuki laughed a little, sitting up properly to stretch and swing his legs over the side of the bed. He noticed a dull ache in his lower back and couldn't help blushing, but luckily he was used to having sore muscles from work, so this wouldn't be a bother. He pulled on a pair of comfy pants and a vest to head downstairs, being greeted with a mug of hot chocolate and the love of his life glowing as he sat at the base of the Christmas tree, present in hand. Come here, I really want you to open this one first. Okay, I'm coming, thanks for the drink. He took a sip before sitting on the couch as Izuku shuffled forward to hand him the gift. His eyes sparkled as Katsuki giddily tore open the paper. It's a new frying pan. It has this fancy handle and there's all this stuff it can do listed on the packaging. I thought you could use it to make breakfast today. Yeesh, this is a fancy pan, you're not wrong. Thanks love, though once again it feels like you're using me for food. You love cooking? I know, I'm just messing with you. Now it's your turn, open that one with the snowflakes first. Izuku picked up the medium-ish sized box and shook it around a little, frowning and pursing his lips in thought before carefully peeling the paper back. Are you seriously not even going to tear the paper? You put so much work into wrapping it so neatly. Just open it? Izuku huffed before tearing the wrapper away and then instantly lighting up and giggling. You got me a new bento box? I knew you loved making me food. You were right as usual. He knelt up to peck Katsuki's lips sweetly before dumping another gift on his lap, the smallest of the gifts under the tree. This intrigues me. Don't guess I don't want you to get it right? Fine, I'll keep my thoughts to myself. He unwrapped it to find an ornately decorated box, which he then opened with a raised eyebrow before grinning and inspecting the gift up close. These are super nice, Sue. You think so? I did a good job? Definitely. I'll put them in for today. He got the new earrings out their box and blindly began trying to put them in his ears, before directing Izuku to open his second present. He wasted no time with this one and once again gasped and grinned in excitement at seeing a fancy thermos for keeping his drinks warm at work. They decided to open their last gifts simultaneously and broke into laughter as Katsuki pulled out a Deku-branded scarf, and Izuku held up his Dynamite-branded earmuffs. Damn, we just know each other so well. I'm totally wearing these today. I'll wear mine too. Ugh, we're going to look so cheesy. We're allowed to, it's Christmas? Thank you for my gifts. Merry Christmas. Thank you too, Ka-chan. He clambered up onto the couch and they leaned in to share a kiss, almost getting carried away before Izuku's stomach growled. Guess I'd better put my new pan to use. He got up to start cooking and shooed Izuku away to go shower and get dressed. Before long they were enjoying their breakfast together while Izuku playfully guessed all sorts of things they could end up doing on their date. Katsuki dodged his guesses altogether no matter how sane or ridiculous each of them were, until finally they were slipping their winter boots on and donning their new Christmas gifts to head out. I packed some more hot chocolate in your new thermos, by the way, it's in my bag. Wow, you're so smart. Thank you, Ka-chan. Plug your phone in and put some music on. We've got about 20 minutes before we reach the first spot. Am I allowed to play Christmas music? Fine. On the actual day itself it would be wrong to say no. Izuku cheered giddily and immediately started playing his pre-prepared Christmas playlist, and despite Katsuki usually hating the overplayed tunes, his excitement for their day ahead kept his mood light. Once they arrived at their first destination and stepped out Katsuki's car, the blonde man couldn't help but notice how Izuku's reaction wasn't quite what he'd hoped for. Ice skating? Wow, sounds fun. I thought it would be nice, get our bodies moving and warmed up. The rest of the day is less active. I'm sure it'll look super pretty inside. I hope so. This isn't the super big popular one, so I'm hoping it'll be less busy. Katsuki held his hand out for Izuku to take and they made their way into the building. His crimson eyes kept flicking over the freckled man's face and he couldn't shake that uneasy feeling that something was off. He booked their session at the desk and collected their skates. Izuku was smiling quietly the whole time. They sat side by side on a bench to put the skates on, and as Katsuki was tying the laces his eyes flicked back across to Izuku, immediately noticing how his hands were shaking. Hey, you good? Yeah, I'm excited. The freckled man smiled again, but it still didn't look right. Katsuki could tell he was forcing it and so didn't hesitate to reach over and grab his hand softly. You're shaking, Zu, what's up? Sigh, the last time I went ice skating was with my mom when I was like 4, and I fell flat on my face and chipped a tooth. You chipped a tooth? It was a baby tooth so it wasn't a big deal, but I haven't skated since so I'm just a little nervous. Katsuki knew he shouldn't laugh, but he couldn't hold back his grin as he squeezed Izuku's hand in attempt to support and comfort him. You're not a clumsy little kid anymore. Think about all the training you've done your whole life. Sure, it might not be in skating specifically, but you have much better body control now. And besides, I won't let go of your hand. I know, I'll be okay. You really can't let go of me though, Ka-chan. I'll probably cry. I won't? You're so silly. Alright, up you get. Time to skate. He stood from the bench and pulled Izuku up with him, keeping an eye on his face as his eyes nervously flicked around his feet and they slowly hobbled toward the rink. I'll step on first and you just have to let me lead you, alright? Take it easy. The freckled man nodded and held tightly onto his boyfriend's hand, letting himself be guided onto the ice and instantly feeling his feet slide around beneath him. Ka-chan, I'm gonna fall. No, you're not. I've got you. Come here, just keep your legs relaxed. Let your feet glide and keep them slightly turned out, not sideways. Izuku, watch my feet. Katsuki could no longer hold back his little bouts of laughter, but the sound actually ended up making Izuku smile along with him, even as he continued to fumble. Here, let me try this. He suddenly swerved on the ice and the shorter man's eyes widened as they were suddenly face to face, both hands intertwined. I can't go backwards? No silly, I'll go backwards, just look into my eyes. He blinked and could feel his cheeks heating up as they maintained eye contact, until he felt himself being pulled forward again once Katsuki began slowly skating backwards. Much better. But you can't see where you're going? It's a circle zoo, and it's not exactly busy. Just tell me if I'm about to bump into someone. But I'm looking into your eyes? Oh come on, I know I'm pretty captivating, but I'm sure you can also see when someone is behind me. He rolled his eyes and Izuku bit his lip to try and hide his smile. He clocked how dramatic he was being and finally felt himself relax a little. Thank you, Ka-chan. Of course, you know, secretly I'm glad you can't skate. What? Why? 'Cause it makes me feel super cool being able to hold your hands and help you. Pfft, well you are super cool, so I'm glad you realize it. You're getting better with your feet. Oh, I am? When you're not thinking about it, it just happens naturally, right? I guess so. I still don't wanna let go of your hands though. I'm not going anywhere. They smiled at each other and Katsuki subconsciously sped up a little, effortlessly gliding across the ice with the man he loved, looking into his sparkling eyes as he blushed, whether it was adoration adorning his cheeks or just the cold he wasn't sure, but he was beautiful all the same. They skated until their time was up, and by that point Izuku had managed to go back to only holding one of Katsuki's hands as they went round the rink side by side. Not once did he fall flat on his face, and he wasn't wobbling at all by the last 10 minutes, so he'd call it a successful experience. Are you getting hungry? We did only have a small breakfast. Good, perfect timing for our next spot. You really planned all this perfectly? Don't get used to it. This is a special occasion. You'll be lucky if we go to dinner once a month. Pfft, I'll plan some dates in future, Ka-chan. I look forward to it. They headed for lunch at Yomomo's famous cafe. She of course gave them the best seats in the building, and Katsuki happily watched as his boyfriend took the opportunity to catch up with her and wish her a Merry Christmas. After their lunch, Katsuki drove them out into what seemed like the middle of nowhere, but Izuku had no complaints as he sang along to his favorite Christmas songs and shook the whole car with excitement as it started to snow. When they finally reached the next destination, Izuku actually had the reaction Katsuki was hoping for this time. His entire face lit up as he raced out the car toward the massive building in front of them. Nestled deep in the forest was a beautifully decorated Santa's workshop, fit with its own reindeer stables and gift-making stations. How did you even find this place? It's been running for years. My parents brought me here when I was a kid. It's so pretty, Ka-chan. You wanna make something or pet the reindeer first? We can pet the reindeer? Pfft, that answers that question. This time it was the blonde man's turn to be dragged around as Izuku rushed through the open entrance and excitedly greeted all the staff members who were dressed as elves. Katsuki handed over their admission tickets before getting tugged round to the stables without a moment of hesitation. Ka-chan, they're so cute. I'm glad you're having fun. Of course I am. Today has been wonderful. Don't say that yet. It's not over. Well, I know. I still have to become an honorary elf and make you a gift. That plus we have one more stop later. Won't it be dark by the time we get back to the city? I hope so. Suspicious. Isn't he acting suspicious, huh? Woo, this one is Cupid. How cute. Katsuki laughed as Izuku scratched the reindeer's nose, and for the first time that day he felt his stomach twist with nerves. In just a few hours he was going to propose. The jittery feeling wouldn't go away. Even as they joined a little workshop to make each other cute keyrings to commemorate their trip, he was worried Izuku could tell how on edge he'd suddenly become. That place was incredible, Ka-chan. We'll have to come back next year. It'll be your turn to plan Christmas next year. Man, I feel like I'll never live up to today. You never know. He tried to sound light-hearted, but his hands gripped the steering wheel a little tighter and Izuku noticed the tone shift in his voice. But of course he wasn't to know Katsuki was currently dying internally at the thought of ruining this whole day with a rejected proposal. Are you alright, Ka-chan? Yeah, I guess I'm just a little tired. We have done a lot today, and even though it wasn't super busy we were still held up by fans a few times. Sorry if it was a little overwhelming for you. He reached a hand across to gently squeeze the blonde man's thigh, and just that simple touch made his shoulders droop in relaxation. Thanks love, I'm all good, I promise. Just one more stop, and this one is probably gonna be a little busier than the rest. Well, if it's too much we can just head home. I've had an amazing day, we can call it here if you... No, we can't. I'm fine, promise. Alright, I'm looking forward to it. The drive back into the city took long enough for the sun to completely set, along with the snow that had now coated the ground in a thin blanket of white, shimmering under the night sky. We really are going right into the middle of the city, huh? Yup, I'm just hoping most people will be at home with their families or eating dinner at this point. Even if it's busy, I won't let go of your hand and you'll be all good. Alright you, I'm not a toddler. Hey, I'm just returning the favor from earlier. They laughed and Katsuki finally found somewhere to park, gathering a few bits from the car as Izuku stepped out, and double-checking that the ring box was still in his coat pocket. Are we walking somewhere? Not too far, sorry it's so cold. It's okay, I've got my lovely new earmuffs to keep me warm. He giggled and reached out to hold his boyfriend's hand, swinging their arms cutely between them as Katsuki led the way, until they could see a glow of light past the buildings. He watched as Izuku's eyes widened and his jaw dropped, walking round into the city center to come face to face with a ginormous Christmas tree, decorated all the way up with lights and sparkling baubles, now delicately topped with a sprinkling of snow. Wow! But Katsuki couldn't even look at it. He was far too entranced by the way Izuku's face was bathed in the light, the rosiness at the tip of his nose and how puffs of his breath clouded from his parted lips, his eyes sparkling more beautifully than any Christmas lights could dream of. You're so beautiful. Wait me? He finally turned to look at his boyfriend in shock, feeling embarrassed knowing that he had been gawking at the tree while Katsuki was merely looking at him instead. And I'm so lucky to be here with you. Ka-chan. Was all he could muster as his eyes welled with tears. He never knew how to respond to the affection he was drowned in on a daily basis. All he wanted to do was reach up and kiss the man he loved so dearly, because he knew words could never express it clearly enough. But just as he was about to step closer he paused, blinking in confusion as Katsuki instead turned to face him and hold both his hands again, taking a deep breath and not breaking eye contact. Izuku, I know we only started dating like, less than 3 months ago, but am I the only one who feels like it's been much longer? No, I totally feel like that too. I guess 'cause we've been so close for so long, and I've loved you like my whole life, it feels like forever. Okay, that makes me feel better. He smiled and Izuku instantly grinned right back, tilting his head a little in confusion, but he mostly just thought his boyfriend was being silly, until he kept speaking. I love you, and I really don't see the point in delaying this any longer than we already have. I want to spend the rest of my life with you, Izuku, and I've been pretty certain of that for half of my life, so... Izuku's heart skipped a beat and his eyes widened as he watched Katsuki get down on one knee. He gasped and stumbled back just a tiny bit, his vision instantly clouding over as the image of the man he loved blurred between now and the boy he'd fallen for so many years ago. Will you marry me? The question rang in his ears, and he cursed his stupid teary eyes for not letting him get the perfect crystal clear image of this moment so he could relive it for eternity. He almost couldn't get his response out as he choked on the words, but after finally getting a grip on himself he dived down into Katsuki's arms and cried, "Yes? Of course yes, Ka-chan, oh my god." The blonde man let out a breath of relief and wrapped his arms round Izuku, but they were both snapped out of their little love bubble as they heard cheers all around. They'd been so lost in the moment that neither of them had noticed everyone nearby had clearly seen the proposal happen and were instantly congratulating them both. I need to actually put the ring on, dummy. You jumped on me. Sorry? I didn't even notice the ring, I was too busy going blind from my tears. He sobbed and Katsuki laughed, pulling back from their dramatic hug to slide the diamond ring onto Izuku's finger. He stared at it for a moment, feeling his heart swell as it all sunk in. But the moment didn't last long before his new fiancée was impatiently holding his face and pulling him forward to connect their lips. Katsuki melted against him and reciprocated the cold kiss, until he suddenly remembered they were still on the floor in public. I love you, but can we maybe call it a day now? Izuku giggled and wiped his tears, letting Katsuki stand up and pull him up from the ground too, and it was then that the freckled man finally looked down at the glistening ring and felt his tears coming right back. It's stunning, Ka-chan. I can't believe I'm going to marry you. Oh, I can. I dreamt about it for years. The newly engaged couple began to make their way out of the town square, Izuku shyly bowing his head to the people who were still congratulating them, until finally they were back to Katsuki's car. Thank you for everything today, Ka-chan. I think it's safe to say, this is a Christmas I'll never forget. I think the only way you can one-up this next year is if we plan the wedding for next Christmas. Are you kidding me? I'm not waiting that long, thank you very much. Oh really? Well then we'd better get to planning. We're inviting everyone? All our old classmates and teachers, OMG, and Melissa and Rhodey? Rhodey? The guy from America? Yeah. I haven't seen him in a few years, we have to invite him. He's a really good friend of mine. Cha, he totally likes you. Ka-chan, he has a boyfriend. Exactly. So he's gay, which totally proves he had a thing for you back when you went off gallivanting as a fugitive with him? Maybe he did, but that was years ago. We're good friends and I'm inviting him and his partner. Humph, but hey, you didn't feel anything for him back then, right? Ka-chan, I barely knew him, and I was in love with you. Alright then, they can come. You're so petty. But you love me. I do. 3 months later. In other news, fans of a special pro-hero duo have been over the moon as of yesterday, after some of the country's top heroes posted photos online of the stunning wedding reception between the resurging hero Dynamite and the widely loved UA teacher and pro-hero Deku. Videos of Dynamite's public proposal had gone viral after Christmas, and merely a few months later the pair have solidified their relationship and shown fans of the Wonder Duo agency that they are stronger than ever. In more ways than just their relationship with one another, the guest list proved that they have the support of some of the most powerful heroes our country has ever known, along with even some international guests such as world-famous inventor Melissa Shield. Will this Wonder Duo continue to rise and take the top spots on our hero billboard charts in the foreseeable future? We are all watching closely. The end. Wah. Thank you all so much for being patient with me and sticking around to watch this part 2. I'm sorry again that it was out so late. I really appreciate all your supportive comments on my community post and the previous video, of course. I have recently gotten some potentially great news, and I might finally be moving out of my nan's house, which means one less major stress to bog my mind down and halt my creative genius. Basically, if everything goes well, I'll be way less stressed and hopefully find making videos a whole lot easier. Pray for me. Love you all so much.